Welcome back. This is Chess 12, Part 13. And Part 13 deals with another of the pawn pieces called the warrior. And as you see here, I have a Chess 3 setup, if you will, with rooks and knights in a common position. Then I also have the cardinal and the archbishop. And instead of the pawns on row 2 and row 7, I have what's called the warrior. And this game, after I show you how to use the warrior, this would be a good setup to practice one game on. So let me show you how the warrior moves. So here I have just a few pieces put out to set up so I can demonstrate the movement of the warrior. Once again, the warriors, just like any of the pawn pieces, can move 2 on their first move, or 1 if they want to. And the warrior is a more powerful version of the pawn in that it can move and capture forward and diagonally. Okay, so that's both of those together. It can move and capture forward and diagonally. And you can see here the white warrior on b4 can move and capture the warrior on b5, the cardinal on c5, or he could just move to a5. The black warrior on g5 can move to g4, can move to h4, or can move and capture to f4. Here's a diagram that demonstrates that pretty clearly. The blue arrow shows where the warrior can move. The red arrow shows where the warrior can move and capture. Okay, so this, of course, just like with any of the pawn changes how you're going to play the game, changes the structure of the game, and you have to decide, how are you going to go about moving this piece to, protect your other pieces, or to advance, maybe to be promoted at some point. So this time I would recommend go ahead and play a game like this one here. The setup, is pretty standard, and you're getting used to the chess 3 pieces. So playing a game like this would be helpful since you've already played with the hunter and the guard and the soldier. Go ahead and playing a game like this instead of the normal chess 2 with the warriors. You're probably learning enough. You've probably played about 20 games right now. You're probably learning enough that you can alter up the pieces a little bit as the tutorial advances. So go ahead and play a game like this. And after you play the previous game, you can play another game here where you alternate the warriors and the pawns. You could also alternate warriors with soldiers, warriors with hunters. Something where you have a mix of warriors and another pawn type. And this game I would keep it simple. Look at 2 pawn types. How do they support each other? Because I believe there's going to be a lot of complexity mixing the pawn types, and some people are going to be able to find some powerful combinations. So, after a game like this, I would probably also recommend playing another game where you set up whichever types of pawns you want, including a warrior. So have maybe still half warriors in the mix because you're still trying to learn how that warrior works, but put some pawns, soldiers, hunters, have a few other different pieces in there, okay, just to see how they mix. Or you can play another 50-50, 50% warriors, 50% hunters game, for example. Something so that you can get to learn how the intricacies of these pawns work, because all of these games are going to be different, and the only way that you're going to be comfortable with setting up a game that you want is knowing how the pieces work, okay? Because remember, what's really different about this game is that you get to choose where the pieces go and which pieces they are, okay? So you start to learn the different combinations that are effective, and you learn combinations that your opponent might choose and what you can choose against those combinations, okay? So play a game or two with these things mixed so that you can understand some of the subtleties of these combinations. All right, well, that wraps it up for this part. Part 14, we'll talk about chess 4 in total, maybe do a couple moves of an example game, and then we will move on to chess 5. And chess 5 deals with changing the queen. And as you can imagine, that's going to be a fairly major change in the game. Okay, so go ahead and play a few of these games and have a good time.